The day has arrived. Hi everyone, it's me, Sol again. Hopefully you're having a good morning, evening, afternoon. I'm in the wrong order, but you get what I mean. Now, small little disclaimer, if I do sound tired or my voice is a little soft, it's because one, I have recently woken up, and two, I just want to keep quiet for my own little personal reasons. So I hope that doesn't bother anybody. I'll adjust the volume a little bit so this way it doesn't get in the way of my voice too much. Sorry if the in-game aim volume is a little too low then, but you know how it is. Anyway, so this is truly my last time playing Brave Frontier as of now. Now, I have not been as serious on this game as I should be, and that's because my activity on it has dropped off significantly. I mean, ever since some events came out, I didn't really get around to doing them. I've just been logging in each day, and that's about it really. But what about all the other events that have been going on, like Raid 8, like there's Raid Class 7? Well, I did try it out. I tried the Novice Mission. With an all-Earth squad. And I didn't realize that the enemy was multi-element. And also, one thing I didn't realize about this enemy, on its first form, when you face it for the first time before facing the actual boss, is that, well, it just loves to drain your OD gauge. I know for a fact I hate the OD gauge drain in this game. It was first introduced when you fought off against Zetus back over in one of the older guild rifts, which was, I'm trying to remember, Athens Sphere's Revenge. I think if I recall, let me see, Max of Steam. Nope, I was never able to clear the last stage, unfortunately. And probably still won't. Because again, you need multiple units who can fill the OD gauge. I know we've gotten spheres and whatnot, but most of the units at the time that came out were limited time only, which really didn't help matters. And still the units that keep continuing to come out are limited time only. I was never even able to clear Void Mirage before because the challenge was just too great. And what do I mean by that? Well, literally I could not get past the first fight. The Juggernaut had too much HP. Was really tanky to me. Because he took so little damage at the start. And I could only deal so much. I did have a good team, by the way. I went with a mono dark team, but it seems that you have to mix up your elements just to get by, which I really don't like that because it screws with the elemental paradigm system that the game aim has been pushing in places. And then now there's Drowning Darkness, which I didn't try yet. I didn't do the event with my guild because I thought that I would not be able to do jack. Even though I should have given it a shot, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. This game, it just does too much harm than good to me. And for the most part, it has been the reason why I've been wanting to quit this game for the longest time. Most events have been difficult with me, but instead of just me sitting here explaining all my reasonings and whatnot, why not just talk about how things were with this game that led up to this decision of mine, shall we? So, I began this game back in, I think a little bit in the early Omni era. Well, when I truly began again, because I had an original account but I lost my old Facebook account, so in turn, I was unable to pretty much do anything about this. I wasn't able to reclaim my old Facebook account, thus, well, you get it. You get it. When I lost it, you can't reclaim it. So, I started from scratch all over again. And, well, start over I did. And, though it was a good start, I will admit, it was nice to be able to get back into the swing of things. And to do things all over again, in a way, because it allowed me to get even further than what I originally was able to get to. And yes, as you can see, I do have an Omni Bailey. Not going to trade that in. Although it's nice that I got her as a breaker, I really wish it wasn't at the point where I'm going to be quitting this game. I've already quit Union Cross. Well, I'm getting off track. So, it's just that back in the day, I used to enjoy playing Brave Frontier a lot. And Brave Frontier and Union Cross were the only couple of games I had for playing in this game. Until I tried my hand at FFBE. At first, I didn't really like it and, well, kind of tossed it to the side. But I eventually picked up the game again. I eventually picked up that game again during one summer and grew to love it a lot because I got units that were really beneficial to me. And over time, I did go back and forth with some of my app games. But by the end of 2017, Brave Frontier had reached its conclusion with its main story, with its main plot. Now, if you don't know where the game's main story had concluded, well, let me show you. It reached its conclusion with St. Creek on the Summoner's Arc. The final fight was in the Demon 2 Monument, called the Denouement. And so you face the demon after it absorbs Garrett's life energy, but you have no fear. You're not fighting for the past, this is for the future. Saying, like, all of this is riding on you. Which it is, but here's the thing. This final boss was a lot easier compared to every other fight in the game. Which I find to be a big slap in the face, because I was expecting a little bit of a greater challenge, but instead, the game just made it easy by having the boss will literally be easy and only having one threshold attack to be aware of. When all the other bosses in the past were redundantly tough for any new players, and it was hard to really fight back. Now, of course, this isn't my final weapon. I do have, let me see here. I was training one time, and yes, I do have about every single weapon, minus the Summoner's Robe, because I found that getting to level 500 was very redundant of a grind, and I don't feel like doing that. But here's a summoner with the X-Deus Gladius. I've given him the Ultra Boost Serum because that's the best sphere you can get, leader skill sphere you could get for your unit, but nowadays 60% parameter boost really doesn't even matter anymore. You need units who can have over the hundreds for a parameter boost in leader skill, which is kind of insulting to say that your summoner character doesn't feel as useful as they once did. But aside from that, I've given him the 2 extra skills. Twin Godslayer Storm, which is basically an ability you get off from those dual blades. It's the rainbow versions, which it's a big slap in the face when you realize that the X-Deus Gladius is a lot better than those swords. I'm not joking. Okay, the Luminous Blades. I leveled these up to max. I got all their abilities and look at their stats. You have lower defense, lower recovery, lower HP, but more attack. Sure, more attack is nice, but it's also not that good. Next stage one is just easy so much more to work with here. There. And it just doesn't feel too rewarding when you literally get a weapon by just clearing the first mission of Sink Creek. Which I didn't even know that. So they gave you one of the best weapons in the game, and for your summoner character by the end of all of it. Now what this does is it turns your unit into a mitigator with good buffs to go off from. A minute. Oh, and I gave him Phantom Courage. 10% damage reduction from all types, 20% chance to reduce damage by 20%, and 20% boost to defense and HP. Very good ability if you ask me, but again, never have used my summoner character after many of updates. And yes, as you can see, I did get some stuff powered up, but unfortunately, the one thing I wanted to go for was the resistance to 1 KO attack, but it's 90k SP, and that requires a lot of grinding. Now, the Summoner Training Camp. Okay, I am thankful that they gave this, but it's kind of an insult at the time that grinding was still a pain, and, you know, just needing to get these items. You needed your gems, which was stupid. Why did you want us to use our gems for those? When freaking experience badges, we could just use our mirror points. And there's plenty of mirror points. I am not kidding. I got so many that I'm not often able to spend all mine because I'm saving. Which is kinda stupid, if you ask me. Might as well just splurge a little bit on my mirror points on this, because 40k doesn't feel like a ton to me anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't feel so rewarding when you're getting a lot of materials anymore. Because all it is just strengthening a unit, evolving them, and like bada bing, bada boom, you got another unit powered up. But then for harder content, you can't really use them. Sure, I could fool around with these units when they were weaker, but still, it just doesn't feel that good. It doesn't feel good to really be so amped up now. And again, it's like, even if I get my units to be very powerful, it's hard to avoid everything because you're often taking a crap ton of damage in this game. No matter what unit you have, no matter how powerful you make them, they get screwed. And that's so sad. Right now, Mikhail is a thunder mitigator for a unit. I've been waiting so long to get their Omni evolution. But Gumi was very slow with this. Yes, at the time they could have made him into an Omni, but no, they decided to make Igavani into an Omni, and it was a useless point because it was at the time at the one Guild Rift, the one that I didn't do, was happening, and it required a thunder units. It's in there. Like, what the heck? That would have been so perfect, but they took too long with Omni Mikhail. Ew. It kind of feels useless now. Because Gumi, I feel like they're not really prioritizing things right for their fans here. At least that's how I feel. I know people are still diehard fans of the game. But listen, I don't like how this game is at times. I really dislike how often it's been screwed over, in my opinion, especially the challenges. The very hard challenges require limited time units to clear and much better spheres. So it's like, even though I've been playing the game for over the last couple of years last few years already, it's now getting to a point where even I can't keep up with things. And that's because I don't got that same stratagem I used to that same flow I used to have with this game. It really sounds weird. I personally feel like I can't be playing it anymore. So, I might as well. Right. I should have given this disclaimer. If you hear anything in the background, those are my parents. Just ignore them, okay? Anyhow, so allow me to just go through my list of units and, well, briefly talk about my favorite armies, since those are the only units I'm not nowadays. My phone's starting to overheat. Isn't that nice? Glass phone. Well, I'm not going to talk about each and every Omni unit on here, since it's already been well over 16 minutes. Oh wait, did I get off track earlier? Well, to just kind of wrap up, maybe not. I'm sorry, I normally do these videos without really a script or anything. You all know that. But anyhow, let me just talk about a couple of my favorite units. Let's see, from the list up here, Xion. Xion's been a fan favorite unit for a long while. Unfortunately though, he's kind of dropped off in usefulness these days, since his buffs aren't as, well, sustaining as they once were. He's not gotten an Omni update since his initial release. Even though he can still be a good unit, he's just not as good as he once was, which really is a shame. And also, by the way, a lot of these units I like are dark types normally, and they do have a huge affinity with me because I often seem to be lucky in getting those. Lancelot, by far my favorite and most used mitigator in the entire game. He got an Omni update that did add on nicely to him. Even his Erendite, I think, got a decent update as well. I forget, but he becomes a lot better as a mitigator, and I do love him for that. His buffs, unfortunately, we think don't get it changed, which really does suck. It sucks that they don't get it changed. And even though I think they should have, but I doubt Gumi are ever gonna do that. They only gave him one Omni update, and once a unit gets one Omni update, that's pretty much about it. Xenon, a mitigator I was waiting too long to get, and even though I used him, he was often killed. Even if I gave him the best of spheres, he just took too much damage, and died almost immediately. It makes me think, what happened here? I get him tough, I make him tough, I make him strong, but he dies so quickly at times, even if I have him all souped up. Again, a real shame. Anyways, Beatrix. I got her on my during Halloween of 2017, I think it was, during the 4th anniversary, and I do really like Beatrix. She's a very useful unit to me, especially for having a unique extra skill here. Blackheart's Pact. It's basically how unique it is towards the end of it. Like, other females gain 15% parameter boost, but while males lose out on 5% of their HP, they get 100% attack boost. It's very effective, as you can tell. Oh, and Beatrix really does give a lot. However, she's not received an Omni update since then, and I don't think they're gonna update her Omni until probably this year, which really is gonna suck because it's been a couple years since she's been out. And who knows how the state of the game will be until then. Karna Master. I did the cheese method on him just to get through his fight, because I have heard how hard Karna Master is, but in hindsight nowadays, it's probably not as hard as it once was. Or, you know, for his original battle, the unit, to get him as a unit, I heard was a lot harder, so I did the IUBB cheese. Yeah, I have I don't feel any shame in that, because I can't devote as much time as I could have. I devoted some time into learning about the IUBB method, but it was a little bit difficult for me to get the hang of. Let's see. Zelion. I really... Okay, of how I enjoy this unit, he was a great damage dealing unit, and has helped me get pretty far in a lot of various dungeons, quests, even a couple of grand quests even in the past. To say the least, Zelion has helped me out plenty in the past, and I couldn't be happier to have a good thunder unit like him. Let's see. Alanon. Oh yes, I forgot to talk about him. Alanon, I've had him for a long time. He was one of my favorite units in the past, before sadly, well, being not so useful. Well, but he still has his uses today. I'm glad that he does, but I feel like he would get destroyed a little bit too easily, even if you built him up a little bit more defensively. I've given him plenty to work with here, and he is a very tough unit in my opinion. But I do wish that I could just use him more. Time Weaver Aina. Now yes, I do have her Halloween costume, but her Halloween costume is adorable. You have to admit that. Still, either way, Elena, in short, is a very versatile unit in terms of buffs and utility. Basically, her UBB Singularity has been used in plenty of content, but nowadays has been kind of shafted by the Omni Aurelia, I think her name was. Basically, she was one of the Atmosphere units, the last one, to get her Omni update. Well, you know, gonna stand alone Omni because we can't evolve the old ones we have. Anyways, next unit, Zeruia. This is a little story I have with her. Not this Zeruia, my other one that I have put more time into powering up. Now, the story. On one Christmas, I believe back in 2016, I was trying to go for Zeruia back then. I spent over $75 trying to get her. And sadly, after 33 summons, I didn't get her. It showed me that RNG was not on my side. But several months later, during a midwinter solstice event, during the summer, there was a resummon gate that featured her and Sylvie. I was lucky to get my first Zeruia, as an anima no less, and I've used her since. She was very useful for a time, before sadly being shafted. As you can tell, units do get old over time and can't really keep up because their buffs aren't as strong or their stats aren't as good. Which really is a shame to me. But I'll talk about more of this in the end. I might make a part 2 of this video because of how long I'm taking here. So let's try and blow through this bit a little bit quickly. So we got Sylvanar, one of my other favorite units for being quite powerful in all honesty. The leader skill still stacks up today to me because, well, here's the thing. And you can give it another 20% enter leader skill, and then the extra skill is to give 20% parameter boost to all allies, so in hindsight, you're giving everybody 140% boost. Amazing! But it doesn't help when stats if leader skill nullification comes in and ruins everything. Next up, Ravia. She still is useful today, but I really hate how they just only updated a couple of multiplies for her, and that was it. Like, what the heck? Like, no update to her kit right here, nothing. Sure, they gave a lot to Gallia, but not for Ravia? But how was she useful? Well, she's basically that one unit you will need for the IUVB method, for instance, for starters. And secondly, she can be a good damage dealer. She can help fill the OB gauge, and she is one of those unique units that can give an extra action. A very strong water unit that can mostly prioritizes dealing stats, ailments, and dealing bonus damage for stats as inflicted units. That is useless on bosses, however. I mean, for bosses, understandable, but when your game is mostly filled with bosses nowadays, it's really not that fun. Anyhow, Omni Kayana. I did give her well, she did not help me for going against Krampus, unfortunately. Yes, I've had her since Christmas, and she's not been that useful for me. Which is a real shame. I'm going Grant, because even though he's powerful, he's not exactly one of my favorites. Fung, however, is one of my favorite units, and I love that she got a nice, at least alternate art. Right. I do like that they updated her finally, but not in a good way that I was hoping it to be. Well, they did update her buffs, they did do that, even though, like, they're not as strong as I would want them to be. They also did it for long. I do love his alternate Omni artwork, but still, it's just not there for me. Azurai, one of the oldest units in the game, and one of my favorite fire units yet again. Now, in the time that he did get his Omni update, it was great. I really did enjoy it, but sadly, he did fall off again, even after catching up to the meta. Blaze right here, another favorite unit of mine that I've used for a long time, because he's been one of my best fire damage dealing units. And I did need it for a while. Let's see. Magma Apex Cert. Alright, a very unique, what is it, a mitigator of some sort? No, he doesn't seem like a mitigator to me. But he's a unique fire Omni, nonetheless. You've gone for free in the Apex Summon, which, for me, required a lot of freaking grinding to get the one ticket. But aside from that, let's move on. Yan and Yuan. This is a cute pair of units to me. Because of a little dragon. And yes, I do like dragons, especially one that's like this. Yes. She was the first unit to have the updated shield mechanic, but again, she has fallen off a little bit over time. So it feels like defense isn't as useful as it once was in this game. Corzon the Damned. And he, from what I know, is very strong in terms of dealing damage, and he has a unique ability that allows him for the first turn to have 100% elemental damage mitigation. Like, what the heck? So if like a big strong attack is coming, he can just tank that. But then after he's, well, open up to being hit by anything else. Really unfortunate though. Hoo boy. Hey. Let's see, aren't there any other units I want to talk about? Wintia, real quick, very great mitigator. I got her as my unit of choice because I was very unlucky in getting her for my summons at the time. Who else? Vicky. One of the older Easter units that I enjoyed using. She does have some good utility on her, and she's useful as a spark buffer and BB attack buffer as well. Archmage Hale, I got her as my unit of choice one time and waited for Omni to come, and my patience paid off because she grew to be a very powerful water Omni unit who can be used for the 0 BC cost method, which I find to be very nice. Charlotte, never got to use her, but it's interesting to see an FFBE character in this game, and it is the only FFBE Omni unit I have in this game, unfortunately. Valen Vidron, they could be very useful mitigator units. A very useful mitigator unit you can build into. Ooh. And basically, Ilm 2.0 in short. What? Earth units. Zel Knight, an original Omni unit that I wholeheartedly enjoyed using him back in the day, but sadly his usefulness has dropped off significantly. Okay, you might know which units are which already, and I'm almost out of time for this part, so I'm just gonna stop it here for a bit and then cut it to a part 2. So, I will see you all shortly. Ciao for now.